Hi there, Dick Allgaier here. I've been experimenting with some new ways to present remote viewing sessions. You're going to see a little bit of this in the January iteration of the Timecross project. And in that video, I explain a little bit about it, and I give you just a sample of that in the upcoming session that should be published in about a week. I've also done some more work on a mysteries project. I did some heavy color graphics, and I'm working on a way to incorporate those into the actual remote viewing session. That's about 2 months off, and I can't talk too much about that right now. But let me just say that working at a whiteboard was never meant to be the apex or the end product of a remote viewing session. Let me say that again. Working at a whiteboard was never meant to be the apex or the end product of a remote viewing session. You know, back in, I think it was 1999, my teacher gave us the first live demonstration of remote viewing. He did a blind target for one of our classes. It was mainly done to demonstrate the tempo of a session and to show in real time how data downloads and stacks up faster than your conscious mind can process it. So he took an ID and he stood there next to a whiteboard because that was the setup in the class. And he went through a session gathering data by sights, sounds, smells and tastes, temperatures, texture, linking it all together. He wrote a little of that down, but mainly the class was required to transcribe the session in real time. And I'll tell you, they had to write as fast as they could to keep up with him. It was to show how consciousness percolates up from your subconscious or your superconscious into your conscious mind, and then comes out of your mouth quite rapidly. It was an amazing session done in public in front of spectators. And the whiteboard was just part of that environment as much as it was a tool or a medium. Most of the written data was recorded by the witnesses in the session. And then some years later, it was, I think, 2005, my instructor did another demonstration, again at a whiteboard with another blind target. And this time the whiteboard was incorporated more into the session collection. He stood there for over an hour. This was the balloon festival target, so it ran about an hour, I think. What he was showing us in real time is that once you get your mind right, remote viewing is not limited to paper and pen protocols. But the whole point of this is that how you present a session is not as important as how you get it. Okay? How you present a session isn't as important as how you get it. I could work a session and then write a song about it and play you a song as my presentation. You know, once there was a beautiful land where the people longed for tomorrow, came upon them heartbreak and misery that turned their life to sorrow. You know, sing that, and that'd be the presentation. I could hire a oil painting artist, and I could describe what I saw and had him do an oil painting and say, that's my session. Some of you have used clay, you know, model it with clay or sandboxes, and that's a viable way to do it. I could write a narrative story and tell it to a storyteller and have the storyteller gather all of you around a campfire on a dark night in the forest with wolves howling in the distance, and then tell the session as a story. Or, you know, I could explain what I see in session, hire a bunch of graphics artists and computer programmers in the Philippines to make it into a three-dimensional video game, give you goggles and have you put them on and immerse yourself, and that could be the session presentation. You know, that might be a way to do that if we get really good. I mean, that might be coming. The ultimate thing would be to implant an some type of sensor in your brain, an optic nerve, that records what you experience in the session and records it. And then you hook the audience up to the, did you hear that firework go off? Boom! It's loud here in Honolulu in the holidays. Hook the audience up, an electrode in their brain, and they experience what you experience. That would be the ultimate, 3D virtual reality. Okay, as we are right now, drawing at a big board with a magic marker was an evolutionary presentation in presenting remote viewing data. I learned it from my teacher, a tip of the hat, and I tried to develop and advance that skill. It seemed pretty magical at first, but I gotta tell you that it's getting a little tedious. It's tedious for me to do it. I think it's tedious for people to watch us. It's tedious for me to see all the other remote viewers. I'm at a whiteboard, okay? We've been there, done that. As I said, it's more important getting the data. My method of remote viewing is first and foremost visual. So in the last Timecross project, there were 25 instances in the session where I executed a protocol where I close my eyes, look in a certain place for a certain length of time with my mind set at a certain way, and it comes to me as visual data, and I draw that out to page after page. This was gotten by a disciplined and structured method that I've been practicing and working at for 20 years. So the question is, how to better illustrate what you perceive in your mind for a video presentation that we're putting up on the internet and putting out as DVDs. How to best do that. Stay tuned.